Welcome, everyone, to our Healing ALS Expert Talks series. And this is Wilson, who was diagnosed a couple of years ago and is a reversal in progress, which means that his ALS symptoms are consistently improving instead of getting worse. So, and it's because of all of the things that he's doing, and many of which he learned from our website, others he learned from other his own research and functional doctors, etc. So he's done this combination approach, and I think it should be very. I think you're going to find it very interesting. So the first little bit is going to be the interview that we just did on Saturday, and then we're going to have live Q&A with Wilson after that. So I'm going to share my screen. I have it up. I have the Riverside up, so I'll share my screen and we'll get started. And just a reminder, we're not medical professionals. We are educators. We are giving you information for the purposes of education, not for the purposes of medical advice. You need to see your own health professional as far as medical advice goes. So just everything that we share, everything that Wilson shares is not considered advice of any kind, but simply information to help you in your own healing journey. So let's get started.
Hello, I'm Scott Douglas. Welcome to our Healing ALS podcast channel. I'm here, the founder with healingals.org, and I am here along with Patricia Tomowski. She will be right here momentarily. We have a guest today. This is Wilson Figueroa. Wilson Figueroa, he is an ALS reversal in progress. It's amazing what he has done to accomplish the gains in functionality that he is experiencing now. So basically, he's 42 years old. He's married, a proud father of 5 children, and his resilience and his faith is what helped him get through these trials that his whole body has been going through over time. ALS is very tough. And Wilson, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, what year you were diagnosed?
Glad to be here with you guys. Yeah, my friend. Everything started, with a weakness in my left leg. It was in 2022 when I had that first. And in the end of 2021, I have to tell that I got the C shots, and I believe it was a trigger for that. Even having the SOD1 gene mutation, everything started after that. And in the same year, 2022, I started noticing some weakness in my left leg. And I didn't understand what was going on. I was diagnosed with pinched nerve, with herniated disc. And in the end of the year, when I was already scheduled to do a back surgery to correct the herniated disc, I had a very serious PE, a pulmonary embolism.
Oh.
It was very serious. I stayed 5 days in the ICU, and I was very lucky and blessed to be alive after that, So it's another reason that I can't complain about anything. I'm very grateful for everything, And after that, go ahead.
I was just asking, did they do surgery with the pulmonary embolism?
No. I was scheduled to do the surgery. I didn't need the surgery to fix the PE. But I stayed 5 days in the ICU receiving blood thinner and got better, thanks God, and everything went great after that. And in the next year, it was December 2022. So in the beginning of 2023, I noticed that the right leg was I would start feeling some weakness in the right one as well. And after that, I start having fasciculations that I didn't have before. I don't remember having it before. So I started and I did some research and I noticed that probably was not the pinched nerve the problem. But even thinking about it, I heard from neurologists that my problem was my spine. I did a lot of MRIs, at least 3 MRIs, a lot of EMGs. And I had the surgery and I had a back surgery. to try to fix the herniated disc anyways. And unfortunately, of course, didn't improve the weakness at all. Because I suffered, just a detail, I had some issues in my back, like herniated disc, over 10, 12 years ago, but it was extremely painful.
Yeah,
And
very.
that time, I didn't have any pain, it was only weakness. Yes, I didn't have any pain. It was just the weakness that I was having in the legs. And I
that is
did the
explained for
surgery and
ALS,
didn't get
yeah.
better in any way, you know. So I was when I and then because I like I told you, I heard from the neurologist that my problem was my spine. When I asked him to order, please, a lab to do a lumbar puncture, and he didn't. And next time I met him, I said, "Doctor, did you receive my ask for the order?" And he said, "Yes, I did." And I said, "Why you didn't order, please?" And he said, "Man, your problem, your spine." And I said, "Man, hopefully, I really wish you are right, but can you do it?" And he said, "Okay, I will do it for your peace of mind." And it showed a really high level of the myelin basic protein when I did that, you know. And after that, of course, he never called me back. And he was supposed to contact me to see the results, but he never did, you know. And on July of 2023, I was like diagnosed in the ALS clinic with ALS.
Wow, I'm shocked that that immediate follow-up could have at least given you an indication of something.
At all, yeah.
And Tisha's here, and basically she knows about folks with not getting their follow-up.
Right, so anyway, I'm gonna actually take over a little bit here. So, what was your first reaction?
I was not surprised with the diagnosis. If he told me that I didn't have it, I would be more suspicious, actually, because I was studying even before. And one of the reasons that I can start saying, my dear, is that before having the diagnosis, I already knew about the genetic cases. You know, I already knew about the SOD1. I already knew that was a very promising drug called tofersen, the Qalsody, you know. And I asked the doctor to do the genetic test. And he said, okay. And he did it. And I got positive for the SOD1 genetic mutation that apparently affects just 2% of all the ALS cases. And when he told me that I was positive, I told him, hey, so we have the tofersen and stuff. And he came to me, who told you that? I said, man, I'm studying for a while already. So there was a big process, you know, a lot of bureaucracy with the hospital because they never had this in North Carolina where I live. And now I'm on the 16th dose of the toffers. And I started January or February of last year. And it's one thing that I really think that is helping in a lot of ways. And just to comment, Tricia, that is crazy because unfortunately, and I really don't understand why the doctors really don't try to understand. You know, I had a very serious conversation with my doctor, telling him, you know, that man, I really don't understand what the way you're treated because you don't have any ideas, you know, you don't have any suggestions, you don't have any thoughts what I can do, what I should try. You just check how much I got worse in every 3 months. And talking to him about that, you know, I asked for the NFL chain, the neurofilament chain test. And after doing after receiving tofersen for months, and the result was extremely great in a way, you know, like they say that to people with neurodegenerative diseases, you know, the level should be around 30 to 100, even higher. You know, for normal person after 40, less than 17. And mine was 7, you know. So, but unfortunately,
That was after a year of the tofersen.
less than a year, about 8 months or 7 months, 8 months receiving tofersen. But unfortunately, I think it's kind of negligence, you know, but I don't have any exam to compare. You know, I don't
Right.
have I think that should be done before starting or something. But the levels are extremely great in a way, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me what were your symptoms at your very worst and where are they now?
One thing that I have to tell that made me feel worse, and it was like completely noticeable, because again, doing all of the researches, you know, in my studies, I knew that there were people that was diagnosed with Lyme, Bartonella, Babesis, you know, that was that went to bed, you know, and couldn't walk, and some people that completely got better, you know, after antibiotics and other things. So talking to some doctors and doing more research, I was confirmed with Babesis, I was confirmed with Bartonella, I was tested for a specialist. I'm positive for Lyme as well. So I had a big conflict in myself because of my studies, if I was going to take antibiotics or not. And I decided to do it. In the end of December, in December of 2023, I started taking 3 antibiotics in a big, um, you know, a big, together, all of them together. And after 3 months, I felt that I was going down, but quick. That was definitely my worst. You know, I had some incredible pain in my knees. It was worse. I got worse. When I started, I was using crutches, you know, for short distances. And after that, I stayed months without walking and without standing from the bed. Months, months, you know. And after recovering a little bit of the pain in the knees, I didn't want to force, because I really don't remember having so much pain my entire life. You know, I couldn't sleep of pain in my knees. So I was just laying down in the bed, you know, sitting a little bit in the bed, but I was not standing, not walking at all for months. And my mind went down together, you know, in that time. You know, like, you know, you question a lot of things and you don't, but I have to say it now already, but when I received the diagnosis, I truly believed that I could reverse the situation. Now I'm 100% sure that I am doing it, that I can, you know. And after having these, you know, there was something as well, some books that you read, some, of course, all the videos from Healing ALS were very helpful, you know, and still are. And there was like a key, you know, that turned inside me, inside my mind, give me again the hope, you know, and the certain that I could reverse that. And I started back to, and then something very important happened. I remember having a PT, the first PT session that the ALS clinic never suggested, you know, and I really think it's very important to keep you active, you know. And in my first PT session, I was laying down flat, my belly up, and I was uncomfortable to breathe. It was not, I was not breathing as I always did. And at the same week, I started doing some water fasting that I always like it to do it, you know, even before the diagnosis. And I started a keto diet, like very serious, you know, a very strict one. After 1 week, less than 2 weeks after this first appointment, I could lay down flat, belly up, and breathe perfectly. So that was the thing that I noticed, like, wow, this is like something that I could notice. Like, it was the first thing during the entire process that I could notice that helped me like almost instantly, you know. So it was one of the things that I said, no, that's the way. Unfortunately, it's the hardest part to be focused, you know, in my opinion, in my case, to be completely focused on the diet. I stayed like 2 months, 3 months, completely keto. But my goal, it's 2 years. 3 years in a row, you know. And that was the thing that really I noticed. And the few PT visits that were at my home, all the nurses that came, all the PT that came, they were very impressed with my progression, you know, in how much I was improving. And one day I decided to try the stand lift and walk. And we start doing some walks, you know, a lot of short trips. And I forced it too much and I hurt my left knee. I heard a pop in my left knee, you know. And after that, it was painful, but I was fine. And I knew it that the movements, I knew it that I was improving, but I was not doing more because of my knee that got hurt. And I had a long process to fix that because I'm a heavy guy, you know, I'm 6'4", and I was trying to do the walks and I heard the pop like I told. So it took a while to really get better. But I never stopped, you know, I was trying to keep in progress and something. And then the knee got better and I started walking again with help with a walker. They got me a higher one, you know, that I could be comfortable, you know, because the short ones are too, I can't feel stable, you know. And one of my goals that I always liked is crutches. I prefer crutches than walkers. But the walkers are way more stable, you know, and more secure in a way. So they got me a big one and I started walking short distance in the PT in another one. And in my second visit, my second last visit now, I did 3 walks of 20 feet each, you know, and it was my record there, you know, and they loved and stuff. But in the last one, I only did 2 walks. And one walk was 60 feet, and the second one was 101 feet.
Wow.
And I could do more. You know, but I didn't want to force, to don't hurt, you know. And it's something that I'm very cautious, you know, to don't fall as happened before, you know. Months, probably over 1 year or more that I don't fall, that I don't hurt myself, but it's something that I'm very cautious to don't put back, you know, this progression or this improvement that I'm happening. Another thing that if I can, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Doing this, you know, I noticed some things. My left big toe, it was impossible to move. I couldn't move it at all. And I'm moving it back. It's better every day, you know, it's completely, it's noticeable about moving it, you know, it's something that I was impressed, you know, and I really didn't expect in a time like to get better in a way, but it was starting moving, you know. I had some difficult. I always played the guitar, and when I started, you know, when I had the weakness in the legs, I did a lot, you know. I played a lot. I tried to record a lot, and it was like perfect. The hands, you know, and to play. And during the process, you know, I felt some my left hand, you know, I felt like the pinch was not so strong as it was in my entire life. And I had some difficulty to play some bar, you know, doing the guitar and stuff. And last in the couple of, and then I stayed like months without really playing, you know, about it. I just put the guitar aside. And my son likes to play as well. He's starting to learn and some. And I took that day and I feel way better. It's way better now again. You know, I feel more confident. I don't say it's perfect as it was before, but it is way better than it was during this journey. The pinch as well. I really feel way better with the pinch, you know, and I try to exercise a lot.
So now you can actually pinch.
No, I always could, but I didn't feel like it was as strong as it was just to do the pinch itself with those 2. Now I really think it's way better, you know, way better. Oh, another thing that unfortunately I didn't take pictures to maybe show, but this part here of the hand, but in the left one, I noticed that when I did some movements, it was deep, a little deep, that part. And I heard and I saw that it was kind of normal. and now it's way better as well. My wife is a testimony. I showed her, and she said, "Yeah, definitely, it was deeper. It was, you had like a hole there, and now it's I don't have it anymore." And
That's
just to
great.
to say as well, for about 2 months now, I'm taking testosterone. Exactly.
So, and you think that's helping?
The only thing that I know that I can say this definitely helped was the diet. Crazy, but I really think that testosterone is helping it. And I can't deny, in my opinion, that Tofferson is doing something, but the Tofferson is not noticeable. I really don't think that maybe Tofferson is healing anything, but maybe it's keeping, holding the progression a little bit. I don't know, but it's hard to judge. It's almost impossible to judge things. The only thing that I can really say was the diet.
So you notice the difference on the ketogenic diet?
It was immediately, and I have the comparison to being laying down, and in the ALS clinic, I go 3 in 3 months, and after doing the diet and starting feeling better, all my strength tests, or they were the same, or they were better. And about the breathing, it was an improvement of 9%. Documented,
Wow.
and everybody was very happy there with that. And I was
Yeah.
not walking at all, I was not able to, I was not even standing. And this year I made a goal, I made a deal to myself to, doesn't matter if the knee hurts, if the feet hurt, but I would stand every day, at least stand every day. And I'm 100% positive on this deal anytime.
Right. Good. Okay, so I'm gonna show a couple of before and after pictures, and you've also, actually, before we do the pictures, let me, perhaps you could say, what are some of the supplements? You used to take a lot of supplements, and then you keep experimenting, and you're still taking a bunch, and we will put all the supplements on healingals.org. So if you go to reversals, there's a section called Reversal in Progress, and Wilson, if you click on his picture, you'll be able to see everything that he's doing and all the supplements that he's ever taken. So he's doing a lot of things. So just maybe name a few of the supplements that you think, that you read about that you think are important,
One,
that you take.
since the beginning, I always start taking the vitamin D3, MK7, K2 all together. The B12, I never had shots of it, but I have the tongue, the one that I take that for a long time as well. Turmeric, curcumin, it's one that I always try to have as well. I tried a lot of the for the gut, I try to get some micro for the microbiota. I forgot the specific name, like essential enzymes. I took a lot of alpha lipoic. I tried ashwagandha, but now I'm really trying to. There's a lot of stuff, nactoquinols, zinc, NAC, NAC, the Q10, the coenzyme Q10, omega-3, of course. I did a lot. B2, B1. Tutka, I took some time. I don't take for a while now. And I did turkey tail, lion's mane, in that area of fungi. But again, it was something that I did it, but I didn't could say that was really help, but probably was improving in a way or holding as well the progression in any way. But I tried kind of those supplements more. Just another two things that I can add that I tried as well. Unfortunately, I couldn't do consistently. I did some sessions of the CVAC machine that I believe makes a lot of sense, but unfortunately, it's over 2 hours, 20 minutes from my home. from my home, the place, the closest facility that they have it. But I did some time. I really think it was great. But now, like over 5 months that I don't go, that I don't have the chance to go. Over 3 to 5 months that I don't go. In the beginning, just after the diagnosis as well, I did some stem cells. It was the IV one. I wanted a lot to do the intrathecal one, but it's impossible here in US. So I did the IV one and the nasal, as they say, and it was removed from my bone marrow. And again, I can't judge that happened, helped me or not in a way. Pretty much that.
What about mentally? You did a lot of things. How important do you think is your mental attitude, your mental, just your approach to this disease?
It's something that I heard from many people, watching videos of the reversals and stuff, people saying about how the mind was important, how the mental was crucial and stuff. And unfortunately, we don't give the attention if you don't change yours. Because when you change yours, it's the game changer, and it's true. In my case, it's 100%. Like I told you, during the process after the antibiotics that I stayed months in bed, I was feeling like kind of depressed in a way, I was only in my room, and I'm waiting now to get the summer back, to be able to go every day outside, to do grounding that I was doing every day, and trying to put the mind in the right zone. And again, it's hard to sometimes you're not feeling this way, so you don't think you can get there, but you can. And it's the first thing. If you don't believe you can you can reverse the situation, it's gonna be difficult. But again, I'm not, I don't doubt at all now, and for real, always I had inside me that I believe that I could. Now I'm sure, even more.
That's great. Yeah. So, when you do get down, what do you do? What did you do when you used to get down? Like you get
I
little
really
discouraged.
can't
Everyone
say,
gets
no,
discouraged.
I really can't say like something that really changed. Two things that I can say that helped me in a lot of way were videos of reversals, to have that, get that hope inside that, man, it's possible, that it's possible. Look at that. Look at some examples, people with tracheostomy, with a lot of with GTT and stuff, and now they are better, and a lot of examples like this. And I have to tell that there's a book called I Am the Placebo from Joe Dispenza. It was very helpful in my mind as well. The other one from Joseph Murphy, The Power of the Subconscious. It's amazing, it's amazing, and I try to share with friends and other people because we have no idea how powerful our mind is, and definitely can put you down, and the same way can put you up.
Fantastic. That's great. I'm glad to hear that. How did you find the way you said you watched the reversals on healingals.org? How did you find us?
I was very lucky and blessed. One day I was watching a video in Brazil about a university in Brazil that was trying to, you know, gather minds together, to discuss and to help with ALS. And there was a lady there that her view was different of the others about, they were talking a lot of stuff and she was saying, no, there's more. There are protocols that people reversing, and it was Tabitha Teixeira. And probably a few hours after the video that I saw, I found her online and texted her. and she was very nice. And I'm part of the Alternativas para Ela of Brazil. I help them as well as much as I can. I do translations to the group as well, with reversals, you know, with people that has another view of this, that people that really believe that we can reverse the situation, you know. And with from her, I heard about the healingaos.org, you know, and all this path. The 47 steps, that is amazing, you know. That I I don't say that I follow every step, but I have all of them in my mind and I do my best to do it, you know, and I know much of them and I know it is a process. I used to say it's not a sprint race, you know, it's a marathon. We didn't get here like in 1 second, so we're not leaving the situation in a second, you know. And it's day after day. I always said this. It's day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, and then decades after decades. We go, there we go.
That's great. Thank you so much. I really, I'm excited. I'm going to show you a few pictures. I'm going to show everybody a few pictures of, so let me just share my screen. I'm kind of going to do one at a time here. Now this one is your shoulder, and it's a little hard to see because there's extra light on here, but this is your shoulder today, and this is your shoulder when?
The left one, it was on February of last year. And I know there's some light there, but it's very visible. You know, my wife knows as well, and there was like a gap. You know, it was a loss of muscle there in the left side.
Yeah.
And the picture on the right was today. You know, and it's yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm going to show this other one because there's another picture that we have that shows you in the wheelchair, and actually it doesn't have the light, but you can actually see here that the shoulder has filled in. It used to be indented, and now you can actually see it. So
Yeah.
you can actually see the muscle starting to come back, and then the other thing is, you know, you said on your hand, you would know, have you noticed that? Has that improved?
Exactly. One day I noticed there was like, you know, it was deep exactly here in the left one. And now it's way different. It's not the way it was. There was some positions that, and it's something that you never notice. So when you see, you definitely notice, you know. And when one day I looked and I said, wow, I that's not the way it was. There's a valley here, you know, there's a deep part here. And now it's way better. Way better.
Yeah, that's
Way
great.
better.
So I'm gonna show you another one. This is you several months ago, and this is you standing. Now, at this point, you could not get up by yourself without the standing assistance. Is that correct?
Exactly. When I received this device, you know, I was able to, I put the belt, you know, and you control by remote, you make it up, you lift it, and you are able to stand, you know, in the best way possible, and you hold like this in a lot of ways. So I was doing like 5 minutes and then 10 minutes, you know, and in the beginning was like this. I was only doing with the belt, and after some practice, you know, weeks and months doing, I can stay now like over 40 an hour, you know, using the belt if possible. But just to stand, I can definitely do now without any help of the belt or something.
Okay, so now we're gonna show you one more. We're gonna show everyone one more, and this one is actually a video. So we'll take a look at that one, and then we'll just play a little piece of the video. But in this little piece of the video, you can actually see, I wish I could play it without the sound. I don't want the sound in it. Oh, I should be able to bring the sound out. Okay, good. Okay, so we're gonna watch a little bit of this video.
And if you can describe a little bit.
Yeah, and that
so
was
now,
today. Yeah, that was today. And I'm doing this a lot, you know, I'm trying to do this daily. I'm trying to do 3 sets of 10, just standing, you know, and sitting back in the, sometimes trying to go as slow as I can. There's some, it's hard because, you know, I'm not the one that I was trying to in the beginning, you know, to record the bad times, you know. But my sister, she noticed, she saw sometimes that even in my chair, I couldn't put my left leg in the support, you know, in the foot support. I had to help with my hands, you know. And now I can pretty much cross my legs by myself, you know. I stayed months without driving. The last time I drove, it was a long time ago before getting better, you know. I went with my wife to leave our car to the mechanic, so we went in 2 cars. And during the entire trip, I was like cheating, you know, I was holding my pants to help to move my right leg to the pedals, you know, to the brake and to the gas pedal. And I don't need it anymore. I'm doing without help of I don't need to use my hands at all to know to help to go from the brake, from the pedal, you know. And
So you
yeah, that's
stopped
good.
driving for a while, but now you're able to drive again.
For months, yeah, for months, for months. And crazy that I was trying one day, you know, I felt that I was able to do it. And I just sat at the car and I was trying to you know, feel the pedals and stuff, but with the car off. So the pedals are heavy, you know, they are not as supposed to be. We don't have the fluids, you know, running and stuff. So I noticed that was difficult. So, and then I said, no, because I was trying to do my best with not running. But when I turned on the car and I was able to, you know, the fluids start running, the gas and the brakes, I was able to completely, you know, handle them. In the beginning, I bought one that you could drive with your hands, you know, that you put the pedal, and I return it and I never use it.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
That's so good. So let's summarize a little bit of what you've done. You did, the most important thing you told me was actually your mind.
Mind 100%, diet, in my opinion, and the PT. Yes.
And the
And the
so those
physical therapy.
things are
Yeah.
the top things.
I really think so.
Yeah, and what about the top 3 things that did not work for you?
I would say that it's known by everybody, you know, in our case, the stress, you know, the fear, the anxieties, you know, the stress of life. This is 100% is not beneficial to us. I would say these and antibiotics were together, you know, like the worst thing ever that happened, you know. I really
Yeah,
can.
some people don't realize that antibiotics, if you've had Lyme disease for more than 6 months, there is zero evidence that antibiotics helps at all. And with ALS, we have heard stories like yours, many, many, many stories that the antibiotics have made people much, much worse. So in general, unless it's a very recent infection, it actually makes people with ALS worse, the
Yeah.
antibiotics.
I heard a lot of people saying that in the beginning of the antibiotics, you would feel bad, you know, you would feel worse, but then you would get better. The same way I heard that people that started antibiotics and got worse until they died, you know. And I really didn't take the risk. I couldn't take the risk because it was like I told you, I just said, it was the only thing that I know that made me worse. Like, you know, I felt like, what's going on? I'm getting worse like daily, you know, and I was every day taking 3 antibiotics.
Okay, and then anything else that made you worse besides the fear and the antibiotics? Anything else that you felt was not helpful?
My dear, not that I know, because, you know, I think that when we say that the diet made me better, it's the same thing to say that, oh yeah, I want to know, I want to share something 100%. I always liked to drink a little bit alcohol, and I had a visit of a lovely cousin here, and I had like 1 week and it was a long time ago. It was before getting bad. It was in the beginning of the diagnosis and stuff. But I had like a week, that we drank a lot. It was a great time, my mind, it was great to my mind, to inside me, myself, but definitely it was terrible for my body. After 1 week, I really felt that it was worse, movements, So it's something that I really don't. I drink like I drank like I didn't drink on Christmas. I didn't want it, But this year I don't think I had any. Last year I probably drank twice, mostly, and it's something that I really don't. I know that in my case was not helpful. That's the other thing that I really almost forgot to tell, but yes, I remember that a lot.
Okay. So you're taking supplements also. You're not sure which ones are helping you, but you're doing the ones based on science that you're taking.
Exactly. Based on, the researches, and others that, that, and pretty much studying a lot, doing a lot of research. And again, I'm trying to focus on just some of them. In the beginning, I was having like a bunch. It's still a lot in a way, but I'm trying to focus more in just some, in just the right ones, that I really believe are more beneficial to keep having it. But exactly, like I try to change a little bit, to stop a little bit, some of them, and then try to maybe mix, do 2, 3 months of one and then go back to see if I notice something as well.
Okay. What is your biggest inspiration and what are you looking forward to in the future?
My inspiration per se now, it's my family, it's my motivation, my inspiration to show them that we can.
Yeah. So you have 4 boys and a girl. And there's before we get
That I know.
inspiration,
That I know.
talk about the future. Tell us about your father.
Yes, my father, when he was about 47 years old, probably around 46 or 45, he had a fall, and we didn't understand that. But and it was I when he died, he was 48. I was 9 years old, and at that time it was 92. Nobody talked about anything about ALS or something. But in his obituary say motor neuron disease. And after being positive, to SOD1, made sense that probably he had ALS in a way, But it's curious in a way because he had um, I'm trying to remember the name here is the that we have the vaccine, the kids that have the paraplegia. Can you help me with the name that I don't?
Polio.
Polio. My dad had polio when he was a baby. He had a lot of pictures, not a lot, but that time, but he had some pictures, and he did that. He said that he collected the shots, It was like his toys because he got shot like pretty much every day, and he had the polio when he was a kid, a baby, and after 47 years, he had the thing, And that time they called like polyneuropathy. That was the name that I always remember in my mind, but never ALS or something.
Okay, good. So you suspect that he had, it sounds like he had all the symptoms.
Now, exactly. He started with some weakness, falling, and unfortunately attacked the respiratory system in his case.
Okay, great. So your inspiration is your children.
Oh,
you
yeah.
tend to be around. So tell me a little bit about at the beginning, you had fear for your, what was your biggest
Yes.
fear?
In the
when you was diagnosed?
beginning, it was hard, to look at my younger one. At that time, the princess was not even in the oven. So I was looking at the little one, and I was wondering if he would be able to remember me, and that was very hard.
Yeah.
Very hard. And now this feeling, it's gone. I'm prospecting, my daughter's 7 month now graduation. Don't need to be wedding. No, no wedding. But yes, there's something that I don't like. I really think that now it's better every day, and there you go.
So you plan to be around for your children's
Oh yeah,
graduation?
and one thing that we all know, right, Tricia? It's like we don't know the tomorrow. Nobody knows. Since I got the diagnosis, like how many completely healthy people, that unfortunately pass for many, many reasons. So we can't be worried about that. The time is now. Life is now. We don't know the tomorrow. So we have to face up and go.
So how you're in the process of healing, you plan to be around for your children and your grandchildren.
Oh yeah.
And so, yeah. And so how do you balance the time you spend healing with the time you spend with your children and family? Like you're living with ALS instead of dying with ALS, which we want everyone to do. Live your life while you're healing. We always say that, live your life while you're healing. So how are you living your life? And you said you're doing a lot of research on healing, you're doing your PT, so you're doing your routines. So tell us how you're living your life, enjoying
Since
every day.
Oh yeah, since after the first diagnosis, actually, when I had the PE that was very serious in the end of December 2022, I was like I was terminated from my job that I had, you know, and I was very motivated to be back on my own to work. I'm an electrical engineer, but here I always worked with construction, and I was very motivated to do it by myself, with sales and construction. In the first house I tried to visit by myself, I almost fell when I was going upstairs. It was a bathroom remodeling upstairs. In the last step, I almost fell. So I knew that I couldn't, be the way I was before at the moment. So after that, all my savings, were used to doctor treatments. And in that time, I didn't know it was ALS, because we know how complex it is. And just to finish this part, for years, at least 2 years, I was without working. All my expenses were used to monthly bills and doctors and treatments and stuff. My wife had to get back to work. She started and doing this. We have the bless of our new baby girl, that now it's 7 months. So she had to keep the work, like managing her crew. She does cleaning. She has a cleaning company. So now she takes care of the girl, but takes care of the team. And I was like trying to focus on my healing in a way, but of course we want to be, to provide to the home, to help as I always did, as I always was. So gladly, and I really think that was very helpful as well to my mind. I started working again with AI. It was something that it was a game changer and with me. I'm always working with solar system, solar projects, in the commercial areas. So this really helped my mind in a lot of ways. So now I'm busy in the way. And the boys, of course, they are great, but they're part of the stress as well. But of course, the joy is way bigger than the stress. So my life is being very productive. Another thing that I really would like to share as well, my dear, is the importance of the sleep, the quality of sleep. It's something that I always studied, and I'm trying my best. This is to monitor, my sleep a lot. And we can't, nobody heals without a good sleep. So it's something that we have to focus as well, to try to, because in the beginning, since the diagnosis, and even before and after the diagnosis, for months, over a year, I didn't have pretty much any sleep. I just had some naps during the day. I didn't rest my body at all because I was like, we want to be awake, you want to do stuff, and that and in the after night, it's the only time you have for yourself sometimes, so. And I knew that was not good at all. So that's something that I'm very focused now as well, to try my best to have a good night of sleep every day.
Okay, so the last thing I'm gonna ask you is, what are you looking for the future? Like anything?
My dear,
anything that-
for real, I really think that I'm stable now, that I'm improving every day, And my goal, I see me in the future to the walking to the ALS clinic saying thank you. I can help you guys.
Okay, so we're actually gonna say goodbye. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
And good sleep is the key to cell regeneration.
Yeah.
It is such a wonderful thing that you mentioned sleep. And a lot of times that's overlooked. And people overlook the importance of it. Well, thank you so much for being
Thank
here,
you, my
Wilson. Noah. I mean, you are a living inspiration for others. And I just want to let you know that, okay?
Thank you.
And it's amazing. You just keep doing what you're doing. You are on the healing path. And like you said earlier, it is not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's a journey we are going through. And at the end of this journey, you can show others what you have gone through. It's just amazing. Okay?
Thank you, guys.
Hey, we love you, brother. You stay in there.
I love you
okay?
guys. Thank you so much for all you guys
Okay.
do.
One of these days, hopefully, we will be down there to come visit you.
We will.
Okay?
I'm sure.
All righty. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
Let's stop the share and let's go to the first question. Sue, I see you on, you can unmute. And if anyone also wants to ask a question in person, I can allow you to, I'm gonna mute everyone and allow them to unmute themselves. Just please be careful to not just unmute while you're asking the question, okay? Now, if you look at the chat, there are a whole bunch of comments, yeah. So some of them are comments, maybe just stick to the questions. Sue, would that be all right?
Okay, Karen asked if you're familiar or sporadic ALS. And then
Yeah.
Wilson answered familiar. Do other people in your family have the ALS? And of course, he answered that his father died in 92 and wasn't really confirmed, but that's what he thought, that was it.
Okay.
Someone wants him to share his contact information.
Yeah, so I think WhatsApp, if you can get him on the WhatsApp, he's on the Healing ALS WhatsApp group. And I think Wilson, you mentioned Facebook. What we'll do is we'll put his name on and you can see the spelling. You can also private message you on Facebook, right, Wilson? Yeah. So you can private message Wilson on Facebook.
100%.
Okay, and then it says, if I'm not mistaken, Tish, you said taking antibiotics for chronic infection might be harmful. Not sure what the viewpoint is in acute and potentially dangerous infections like pneumonia.
Yeah, and I did answer that. And the answer to that is, of course, sometimes antibiotics are absolutely necessary. In this case, it's long-term Lyme, and our feedback from you guys has in general, the antibiotics are making people worse with Lyme disease, like 95% of the time, like a vast majority of the time, people get worse, not better. So in general, but for acute infections, of course, sometimes that is the best solution. and you have to do your research. Are there alternatives or not? But sometimes you need antibiotics to save your life, period. So,
Yeah, let's see. Someone was asking what the C shots are, that
okay.
he said he thought was a problem.
So I think we know that part of, we're gonna be putting this up on YouTube, so we want to not use the name. But I think you guys all know what that is. There was a pandemic and,
Yeah.
and people took shots for it. So, and he took 2 of them. And it was after those 2 shots that he had, not too long after those shots that he had his first symptoms.
Yeah. Most of the stuff here is either questions or things that you or Wilson already answered.
Okay. Did you notice how many, I'm curious on the CVAC machine, how many sessions did you have with it? And,
Sorry. I did 30 sessions of 20 minutes each.
okay, and then and did you feel like it was helping you, or was it just sort of, it might be helping me, but I can't really identify it for sure?
I really like it, again, with this situation, with this condition, it's very hard to really say that something helped, or not. Just the things that I told, that it was very clear in my mind and during my process. But I really think was very helpful. And I do believe in the concept, I would love to do it like frequently for a long time, like twice a week at least, if I could, once a day, every day. But unfortunately, it's too far from me. So I couldn't keep going. But I love it. And I hope that we will have one here in Charlotte as soon as possible to keep going. The people of the clinic there in Asheville they were amazing, and it was great time there.
Yeah. Here's a question from Rafia. Wilson, you said you weren't sure that the tofersen was the main thing that helped you. And do you think you would have, you said you would continue it, but do you think you would have made this kind of progress without it?
Unfortunately, the same answer. It's impossible to say. It's impossible to judge, if I could be worse, if I could be, I don't know, better, or the same. It's very hard to know. But I believe another thing that I just took Tofferson, I just started taking it because it made a lot of sense to me after my study, and my research. I really think makes sense to people with SOD1. That's the only reason. And I believe it's helping.
And you weren't afraid of taking the shot into your spine? That wasn't a concern?
Not at all. I do a joke sometimes, that when you are drawing, a crocodile is a boat, It's a it's a it's a it's a it's a it's something to help, So no, not at all. Not at all. It's painful for a few seconds or minutes, but it's nothing.
Now, once you did you get an infection or a bad reaction one time, the rest of the time?
One time I had what they call a CSF leak, and it was a very bad headache. And you have the solution apparently, you just have to do a blood patch. But I did some research as well, and you have pretty much the same risks and stuff. So, or you could do the blood patch, or you can try to wait to 7 to 10 days, and it will be better. And I waited, and after 7 to 10 days, it got better. But when I was laying down was like fine, but when I sit, at that time it was a very bad pain in my back, neck, in my head. But it was just once, and after that I told them that, and they started using a special needle, and that needle apparently it's way better. And after that, I never had a problem again.
Okay, that's great. How often were you taking the tofersen?
It's one dose every 28 days.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a question here. Are you thinking of testing your children? Forgive me, I know this is difficult.
We have the option to do it, but I really think makes no sense to do it now. I'm trying to really put them in their mind, the healthy life in the best way, and show them that no matter what happens, we can solve the situation, and be better again. That's the deal. But we really don't want to do it right now. Makes no sense in our
Yeah.
opinion.
I know that has been something that my family has tossed back and forth. My brother has the SOD1, but no symptoms. And he's not sure if he wants to have his children tested, and he has a grandson. But I had my daughter tested. Thank God she doesn't have it. But we are concerned about my nieces and my great nephew.
Yeah. And you can do it when he's got older. I love the idea of healing, and Sue, you too, because when you heal and when Wilson heals, it won't matter to the kids that they've got it
Right.
or not, because hey, guys, you can beat this no matter what. You do have to be more careful than usual with toxins, more careful than you with junk food, but they can, basically live. It's a lot like a mold sensitive person. When you're mold sensitive, you've got to be very
Yeah.
careful with mold. There's certain
Right.
buildings, certain places that you don't want to live because but it's certainly something that anybody can live with. A lot of people have the MTHFR gene. It's just harder to detox with that gene. It's hard to
It
methylate.
it just bothers you when like with your situation, Wilson. My father had the SOD1, so it scares me for my brother and it scares me for the kids because it's familiar. So it is scary.
Yeah.
And if they don't start now eating properly and getting their sleep and doing all the right things, they could end up with it. And like they're young, so they don't want to listen to that. So it's kind of scary.
I know.
And then Christine, you were saying that my PT and OT won't order a sit to stand maintenance must to maintain muscles. I think that's more something that you have to ask your neurologist to order for you. I don't think the PT or OT have that ability. I know at least where I live, they don't have that ability to order those things. It has to come through my neurologist.
Yeah, we're gonna work with. We want to work with some other teams like the Team Gleason and the ALS Association, to get them more of those in their lending closets, because those sit to stand machines are amazing. Um, and they really should be covered under Medicare. I don't know why they're not, but that's something that the Healing ALS medical team, it's on our list of things to do, to get the Healing ALS medical team talking to see these other teams to find out, because it can be so helpful to have a sit to stand machine. A lot of the wheelchairs, if you have a choice, and you can get the standing feature, it does cost extra money to get the standing feature. And again, we're trying to work with, possibly with, Team Gleason, to see if they can pay for that extra feature. They will pay for the elevator feature, but not the stand feature. So, but people do buy those sit to stand machines online. So you can find them in Facebook Marketplace, in eBay, things like that. You can often find a used one for relatively inexpensively. But they were very helpful, because with that sit, even though you couldn't stand up, with that machine, you were able to stand for how many minutes? Even when you were not able to stand up, because it was bracing your legs.
Yeah, I started with like 5, 10 minutes when I just got the device. But like I told you, now I can stay over 40, over 1 hour, just being held by the thing. And of course, I try to move myself in the best way, to really, it's great to stretch, in a lot of ways. I love it.
Yeah. So basically the way it works, guys, is you just, you just press this button, and it stands you up, and your legs are braced. So you're able to, and your hips are braced. So you're able to stay upright for a
Yeah, that's
period of
great.
time, which is good for it's good for all of your internal organs and your circulation and detoxification and oxygenation, everything.
And there's a lot of comments, a lot of thank yous. Um, oh, let's see. Our chat comments going to be on YouTube.
No,
And
we're not going to put them on YouTube. We haven't figured out what we're going to do with them yet. I think what we're going to do is keep them in the Healing ALS website so people can go and look at the chat. And that way, that's one of the reasons we only just show the last few weeks of the membership, but we're going to have it. But then after that, you have to sign in and be a member to see the recordings. So that way, it's confidential and it's not going out to like the whole entire world. It's only going out to the members of Healing ALS.
okay, Raffia asked, she's blanking, what's CVAC?
It's a called CVAC machine. It's a altitude simulator that you go to high altitudes. Actually, the developers it's here, and it's amazing. Makes a lot of sense, to recover cells, to even act in the mitochondria in a lot of ways. There's a lot of studies going on, and I really think it's a great, great thing to try if you have a chance. If it's close to you, and if you have a chance, I really worth.
Great, thank you. Have you tried the Tentant biomodulator / biotransducer?
No. One interesting, I have a device here that I got from Brazil that there are some people that had great improvement with that. It's called Hagihara. I don't know if you guys ever heard about this name. It's like a electrical magnetic, device that you put and it stimulates the muscles and the energy and stuff. And I don't believe in coincidence. I really think that everything has a purpose. And I met a lady last week or 2 weeks ago, and she went to in contact with me to try to give me options, and she was saying that I had to do it. And I have it here in my house, and I never use it. So it's another thing that I will start using as soon as possible. I think it's kind of the same concept or kind of a way, but I never had it before.
Sometimes it's hard to fit everything in a day.
Exactly.
I only have so many hours. Alan said that O2 Health Labs in Newport Beach, California, has been using HBOT in combination with the CVAC in Lyme disease. The concept is the oxygen kills the bugs and the CVAC flushes the dead bugs to avoid the Herxheimer reaction. It's something for someone to consider if they're close by, I guess.
Great.
I think a lot of ALS patients have Lyme disease. I know it comes up on me all the time.
Yeah.
Were there any other modulation modalities or clinics that you tried that did not help you, or that you feel that might have been harmful?
Not really. I did most of things by myself. I never went to any specific clinic. Some I would like to go, but it's too expensive, so I never had a chance. So no, not at all.
Thank you. Joe said ProMobile has grants which will cover some or all of the wheelchair lift feature. I did not know that, so thank you. So if you don't have the funds for the extra 5K, which is whatever I think is with the extra cost for the feature, is definitely contact ProMobile, PERMOBIL.
Okay, and Wilson's information is in the chat. And yes, Rafi, I am a PALS. You and I've talked about that in the past. Yeah, familiar SOD1. Just like my father. My brother has the gene, but has not had any symptoms. My sister doesn't want to know if she has it or not. My daughter was tested. She does not have it, but my nieces and my great nephew have not been tested. And no, I do not take Tofersen. I've been asked about it with my doctor. I'm afraid of having that injection in my spine.
I understand.
Mm-hmm. That's always been my biggest fear, because I'm pretty much a still walkie-talkie. I use a rollator and I use an electric wheelchair in my house just so I don't fall. but I'm so afraid of that. Back in the day, I had a spinal with my second child, and I got so sick with migraine headaches. I'm afraid to take that shot. Even though I have SOD1, it just scares me to death. I've got sore pipes for veins. And the last time they did blood work, she hit me so hard, I had bruises all on my inner elbow for about 6 inches on both sides. And I've got, you could hit me in the dark. So, needless to say, I don't want anybody messing with my spine. So that is a big deal for me. I'm afraid to try that.
Great. Michael asked, and I'm just going to answer this question, said, why is it that healing ALS, it's so hard to find the recordings now? Because we just changed it and we only did it, I think on Friday. So I'm going to show you how to get to the recordings. So you go to healingals.org and the new events page isn't up yet, but you can still get to it. So at the top of the page, just a minute, let me go to, you're going to see events here. So go to events, click on events, and then right here, past events. The new page has it right up top, so it's easy, but past events below, or click here for past recordings. So it's not hard. It's one extra click and you're going to see the recordings. So I want to make sure that everybody understands that they're still here. So, okay. So just click on events, scroll down a little bit and past recordings. We did that because we're trying to get everyone new on the site to do this 7-day quick start. So people were very confused about what you have to do. So now we're hoping it makes it easier because they can click quick start. They can spend about 15 minutes watching these basics for the brand new people. And then the 7-day course is right there. So the idea is to make it easier for the new people, a little bit less overwhelming because they didn't know where to go or what to do. So that's why we needed some space in the menu. Any other questions? And feel free to unmute if you'd like to ask a question. Okay.
I had a quick question. Hey, Tish. I just had a quick question. Wilson, thank you so much for taking the time and sharing all of your progress and everything. About the sit to stand, once you're done using it, does a family member have to move it out of the way for you? Like, how does that work?
In my case, I have it put in a place, I usually put in a corner or my room or in the living room. So I go to it with my wheelchair. And off there, I do it. You have like the brake, the lock to lock the brakes. So I put the brakes on and it's completely stable. So I go there by myself and I can do it, the movement, the exercise by myself. Or you get the remote controller and you can lift, put the thing. But if someone can help you, can be. But I do it by myself all the time. I always try to do everything by myself as much as I can, Until now, it's pretty much fine. If I have the remote for my power chair that I asked the guys, I could go driving anywhere. If I could park I go with the wheelchair close to the car, enter, and then I could, control by remote to park inside the car. But yes, with the stand lift, you can definitely go by yourself and nobody needs to move. But it's very easy to just unlock the brakes and you can move everywhere you want if someone can help.
Thank you.
Okay. And obviously if people have no movement, they're going to need help strapping themselves in and
Exactly.
So it depends on your level of disability. So I've seen people with like literally no movement using that. They did have someone help strap them in, but then they were able to do that and do the standing, that part they could do themselves. So okay, great. Well, thank you all for coming. What we're going to do is we will do breakout rooms for 30 minutes. So anybody who is would like to stay on, if you have not done your February ALS registry, please do it. If you haven't done it, please stay on. And actually, we could even do it together. Like everybody could just do their own and make sure that it's available. So I'm going to do the same thing because it's officially due. Really, we'd like it done by now already.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
you are allowed until the 15th. We may change it to the 10th, just because we'd really like people to do it really in the first 5 days if we can. But I will, I'm actually just want to thank, everyone for coming. I'm gonna actually go stop the recordings and save the transcript. So thank you, Wilson, so much for all of your help. I mean, you just look, and thank you for being the inspiration, because every single one of you that is healing, in the process of healing, every single one of you is helping. It's like you putting it into the universe. Here's another person who is reversing. So it's a huge deal. You're not just reversing for you, Wilson, you're reversing for all of us, for every single person with ALS now, and in the future. So that's how important it is. I want everyone, as you're doing your healing, it's not just for you, it's not just for your family, it's for the entire ALS community in general. You guys can help.
Thank you, my dear. In the same way I used to say, that another's inspired me to believe, I really want to be the inspiration for others, that please, guys, trust, we can do it, It's not the end at all. It's just a part of the process of the journey. And I really believe that everything has a reason, So let's try to be grateful and keep going. Face up and let's go. Let's go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Count on me.